Welcome back to the show, The Unbroken. I am your host, Sam Davis. We're just going to jump right into this. I got my buddy Pej and wanted his feedback. We're going to go over some questions that are sent in by the audience via email. This episode is brought to you by interventiononcall.com. It's your go-to resource if you got a loved one that you're just flat out worn out trying to manage their addiction. You don't know what to do and you're losing yourself in the process. We offer family support meetings 5 nights per week, totally free on Zoom. I assure you, it is not your average support group. It is interactive, it is packed with information, and we're a solution-based group of interventionists that are in private practice that all believe in the mission of Intervention on Call. If you feel like you want some individual attention and strategy and plans and guidance, you can book an hour session with us virtually. You can do a phone session or you can do a video session. You can have other family members join the call to help you build your team, educate you on exactly what addiction is and what recovery looks like to help you move forward. InterventionOnCall.com. So, Pej.
Good to be back.
How you like Virginia so far?
It's an interesting area. I mean, I've been in probably 11 states in the last 2 months.
Right.
And I compare a lot. You know, like, would I live here? I would live in Virginia because of the amount of land that people can have, you know, on their properties. And for real estate, like, that's good. I would buy a lot of dogs.
Right. A lot of dogs, huh?
A lot of dogs just to go run out there in the field.
Hell yeah, right. So, I mean, you know, we got 100 acres, a farm, and then across from that, I lease 360 acres.
I love it.
22 acre
It's a lot of hunting out here and fishing,
a lot of
too.
hunting. It's a lot of.
I like it.
It's a lot of rolling hills. It's a lot of history.
It's different
out
than
here,
where I'm
too.
from, but, you know, I could get down with it.
Absolutely, man. Are you saying y'all yet?
I've been saying y'all anyway from back there because it's something I just picked up over the years.
Right.
It's good to couple it all together. You all, y'all.
Yeah. Man, I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
And glad to get in the studio with you
always
today
good to be with
again.
you. Yeah.
And we just sat here and did a podcast.
One of my podcasts.
We'll flip it around.
Primary Purpose with Pej on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Make sure that you subscribe to Primary Purpose with Pej because we want to grow it.
Yeah. So look, we've got some questions emailed in.
Yes.
And I'm just going to use first name basis.
I love questions.
And I would like to start with, and you hear this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Penny from Saskatchewan, Canada.
Okay.
All right. Is relapse really a part of recovery? I hear that all the time.
No, it's not. So even in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, the word lapse is used, right? Relapse, at least in our ideology, because I've heard you talk about it before and I already thought it, right? If a person is just coming into the path of recovery because it's circumstantial, let's say like they're on a court card, a judge card, an attorney card to look good for the courts, or a wife card or a husband card, and they're just coming and trying to appease someone, then they're not really in the process of recovery. So, because if they go back and they relapse and they drink again or use again, then to me, that's just taking a break.
Yeah.
Because of circumstances. So it's not like you really relapsed from something. You just, because you were up against the wall.
You just interrupted.
You were interrupted.
Right.
We had a counselor in rehab one time, this big black dude from South Central LA. He's like, if y'all are in here for all the wrong reasons, you're either working on your recovery or working on your relapse, meaning you're just wasting good using and drinking time.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I know that if somebody's like in the process of the steps, like the 12 steps, or they've really were attempting to like stay sober and they were doing work, maybe therapeutic work, or even like had a sponsor, a home group, had sponsees, and we've seen them.
Yes.
We've seen those types. We've had people that said they've done all 12 steps, and then they go and they use again. Yeah. I would see that as a relapse.
Yes.
That's a relapse
yeah.
because, and usually like I think to myself, so how surrendered were you? Did you have a higher power working in your life? Did you have reservations? You obviously did because you acted on them. That's more, realistically, that's more of a relapse to me as opposed to a person that's taken a break in life due to some circumstance and come into a treatment setting or a sober living for whatever reason. If they really weren't getting into the work, then that's not really a relapse. Not in my world.
Hey, same here, man. You know, and there'll be some people that be like, man, why are you dissecting that so much? Why does it matter? Because of the power of the word. Not just just as important as what you're telling yourself, what you're telling others.
Relapse.
Guys coming out of detox.
Yeah.
Coming out of detox 7, 8 times. Man, I just relapse. Just keep relapsing. Just keep relapsing. And then they lose hope every little bit of time.
Yeah.
And it also plants in their mind is like, well, I was sober 2 days out of detox. It gives them the idea that that's what sobriety feels like, and it's not.
Yeah.
I'm a stickler for the details about what we're telling ourselves around this illness.
Yeah.
Because when you have clarity around that, the illness gets more is more easy to overcome and to wrap your head around and incorporate a solution.
Yeah.
When you really know what's going on. Like if you've gone through the work and you've built some emotional maturity and emotional freedom, and then stuff comes around and starts happening again, and then you pick up again.
Yeah.
It's a relapse. But it's not a part of recovery.
There's some stuff that you probably haven't really worked out yet.
Yeah. Yeah, there's stuff down in there.
Yeah.
There's stuff to unravel. It's not relapse, and I'll go to my grave with this. Relapse is not a part of recovery. It can be a part of someone's recovery journey.
You sure?
But it's not part of recovery. You're actually in the illness.
Right. If you're in recovery, you're recovering from what? The illness.
Yeah, right.
From the spiritual malady.
Right.
Right? The obsession. You overcome the obsession.
Yeah. All right. Joshua out of Dallas wants to know, how can I set boundaries and avoid the conflict that comes with it, or the potential conflict that my loved one is going to react to the boundaries?
Well, depending on what kind of conflict is going to come with it, right? Like what's your living situation? Are you setting boundaries with the person that you're living with on a day-to-day? There are plenty of people that, and I said this the other night in one of our groups, when you have an awareness for when your loved one is in their, let's say, their illness, their disease, as opposed to in their recovery, you have the right to tell that person, hey, I love you, but I don't love this part of you, or these things that you do, or these behaviors that you display. Therefore, I'm going to eject myself from this conversation or this scenario today. I'm going to work on myself. I don't need to deal with this. Simple as that. Then you don't have to get caught up in the hype and the tornado that will come about. Like that's the conflict. The conflict is when the person is acting out, trying to push your buttons. And believe me, an addict in their active addiction, I know one of them right now that's very close to me, will say anything to get a rise out of me. Yeah. And that's what I got to really be careful for, is that when I start dancing with the devil that's within them, when I start getting caught up in their hype and maybe perhaps their gaslighting and whatever, all the stuff that comes with it, then it brings things out of me that make me feel ugly.
Yes.
And therefore, I don't even want that emotionally, mentally. I can just eject myself from it and say, I love you, but I'm not going to, we don't need to have this conversation today. I'm going to go to my meeting today.
Right.
If that's the type of boundary that you have to make.
Right. I mean, if you're a family member and you got an addicted loved one, it's going to come down to you got to set some boundaries that your loved one's not used to having.
Yeah.
You can expect some pushback.
Mm-hmm.
You get to choose whether you engage with that or not.
Sure.
I was out in Kentucky a couple weeks ago doing some deeper work, and a clinician, she said, around the thing about boundaries, she said, I like to visualize that I've got like a glass jelly jar. Like a clear or canning jar, right?
Yeah.
That I'm setting over top of me, and I can see the world around me. Nothing's getting in that jar. I get to choose what I bring in that jar and what I don't. If I set a boundary with an addicted loved one, look, if they're happy about the way you're dealing with their addiction, probably not doing it correctly.
Right.
Right? So when you start setting boundaries, they're going to get upset. That's when you can expect that to happen. You get to control how you reply to that and how you respond to that.
That's
absolutely,
right.
So
love that.
Deborah out of Chicago, how to live. I have a daughter as a chronic relapser. We go with the chronic relapsing, right? Been to close to 35 treatment centers. How do I live with this?
How does Deborah live with it with her daughter? Here's the question: why does Deborah deal with this? Why is Deborah, no offense to Deborah, we have to understand when we're fully enmeshed in our loved one who keeps behaving and acting like this, we have to take a look at ourselves. Why are we taking on their problems and their emotions? Where are we personally with ourselves? Are we doing some work on ourselves to where at some point we can just allow them to have their experience without us being part of the experience? Why are there so many people? Not Deborah. I'm not saying Deborah because I don't know how Deborah gets down.
Although Deborah probably needs to listen to this.
Okay.
Of what you're
Why
getting
are
ready
so
to
many
say.
people the puppeteers in their loved ones' lifestyle? Why do they feel like they actually have the ability to maybe control it, or maybe this time's going to be different, or it's wishful thinking, but man, if history repeats itself in your loved one's life over and over and over again, and you keep watching that, what makes you think that this one's going to be different if you're still that caught up and that enmeshed and that involved in your loved one's life? I'm not saying you need to turn your back on them and say, I'm never going to talk to you again.
Man, people spew all that stuff out that know not what they speak of.
Yeah.
Again, power of the word.
Yeah.
Like, you got to turn your back on them. Bullshit.
Yeah, you don't need to.
That's not love. That's
No.
being a dick.
Yeah.
And then, man, for so long, when I first started doing social media content as an interventionist, you get, that's tough love. That doesn't work. It kills people, especially from the harm reduction community.
Yeah.
Which I know, that's a whole other thing. But I mean, I support harm
community will find
reduction.
everything wrong with what we do.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
They don't even believe that there's such thing as enabling and codependency.
Yeah, that's blows my mind. But, when you look at the current, just turn on the news, you think nothing surprises me anymore. But, all of that lingo, like, that's just nonsense, man. It's like, it's just about boundaries.
Yeah.
It's about, and what do boundaries look like? It's like, hey, man, you know what? I see that what I'm doing isn't working.
Yeah.
It's driving you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly than that, or just as importantly as that, this is driving me crazy.
Right.
You know what? I'm not going to engage in this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm also not going to try and control you. If doing drugs and that lifestyle is how you want to live, and I certainly hope it doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
I worry about you, and I'm going to worry about you.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's the way you want to live, like, you can do that. I'm not going to enable it. I'm not going to be a part of that.
Right.
And if I'm not going to hound you about it. I've offered you a place to go. If you're refusing, hey, I respect that.
Yeah.
But I've got to put some things in place to protect me.
Protect me, exactly.
And I'm going to do that, and I'm going to live my life.
Well, you know what happens also, what I've noticed and this happened the other night too, I was talking to somebody and she said her daughter did not like that she comes on our groups or that, because we're a threat to the disease.
Yeah, we're the disease worst enemy.
Worst enemy. And on top of that, a very simple one that my mom used to tell me when I was newly sober, if I came with my whole complaining of anything, the complaints department was closed. Simple.
And locked.
Locked. What she would tell me is, hey, I'm going to my Al-Anon meeting tonight. I'm going to talk to my sponsor. This is none of my business. Maybe you have someone that you want to talk to. She wouldn't tell me to go talk to my sponsor or my rehab counselor, but she knew when she said it like that, I knew exactly what she was trying to say. Go figure it out.
Right.
It's not my problem anymore.
Right. Freedom.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean she wasn't concerned
No.
about you. It doesn't mean she didn't love you.
Yep.
And did you think for a second that she didn't love you as she was setting those boundaries? Because that's the biggest fear of Deborah and everyone else is that, man, if I do this, my loved one is going to
think I don't love her anymore.
They're going to run out in the street and die, or they're not going to love me anymore.
No, I mean, you got to take care of yourself. We're not put on earth to continue to be caught up in your struggling loved one's life if they don't want to stop struggling.
Right. My mom and dad were tough on me at the end. They set those boundaries. Mm-hmm. They were direct.
It's a game changer sometimes.
Yeah. I was angry. I was pissed off.
What part of you was angry?
Oh, the addicted
disease.
part. Like,
the addictive.
Yeah. I wanted to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it without consequences.
That's why.
And I got pissed off when things started getting in the way of that, but never once.
Yeah.
Never once did I believe that they didn't love me.
Me too.
I knew they loved
me. I always
me.
knew they did.
And I knew
the real part of me knew.
The clarity part of me,
Yeah.
that genuine part of me, the God part of me, knew that my family had to do what they had to do.
Absolutely.
I knew that I had invited that into my life, but my ego and my pride wasn't going to admit that.
Yep.
I can't let you see that.
And we know what the ego and the pride stems in. That's the disease or alcoholism and all the stuff that we want to make up in our heads or excuses we want to make about our loved ones.
Most definitely. Marcia, who didn't say where she was from, says, how do I help a loved one that's considering relapsing?
How do you help a loved one that's considering relapsing? So I mean, we see that too within our groups, but we also hear it ourselves. If somebody is, first of all, why is a parent, again, caught up in their loved ones' conversations of them talking about considering relapsing? The same thing. Listen, I'm working on myself. I would hope you don't do that to yourself because, I love you. I would hate to see you do this to yourself, but it's out of my hands. I've already seen you relapse before, perhaps. I've also seen you do well, and I would hope that you give more power to you doing well because I believe in you, and I believe that relapsing is not going to solve anything. It's just going to take you 10 steps back. You're going to probably prolong your process. So I love you very much, but you're going to have your own experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. This reminded me of a text I got yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And the mom said, hey, man, he wanted to know if he could come home and detox.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him no. And he said, well, I'm just going to go out and shoot. I'm just going to go out and use until I die.
Which is a very common thing that people say to guilt trip their
Very common
parents.
thing. My response, she said, what do I do?
Yeah.
I said, I would reply with, because he did it through text,
Yeah.
I would reply with, that sounds like a pretty stupid thing to do, but you're an adult, and I'm not a detox center and I can't help you.
Right.
Love you. You may want to go to detox because they've offered him detox.
Yeah.
Right. So, I can be sarcastic, right? I
Right.
can. It just
comes
it's
out
the
like
trauma.
that.
It's
Yeah.
the trauma. But, I'm like, dude, you know what you probably should do if you're thinking about relapsing?
Yeah.
How about do this for me, brother? How about write down some horrible shit that has happened to you, a list of which I'm sure there is a plenty.
Yeah.
Write it down on a piece of paper. And look, don't even ask me. I'm your mama, or I'm your daddy, or I'm your wife or husband, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't even ask me because you're more than likely not going to listen to me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would suggest that you do is write some of the horrible shit that happens when you use and the consequences that you've had, and just go down the street, go to the Sunco or go to the 7-Eleven and ask some stranger, some random person at the gas pump, say, hey, I'm thinking of, this is what happens to me when I shoot dope. This is what happens to me when I smoke crack.
Yeah.
This is what happens to me when I drink. But I'm thinking about going in there and getting a 40 ounce.
Yeah.
What do you think? Right? Give him the list. Say, what do you think I should do?
See what he says.
See what he says.
Probably not a good idea.
Go from there.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're thinking about relapsing, you're on a slippery slope.
Well, also, when somebody's saying that to their parent, there's probably something behind it.
Yeah.
There might be some manipulation.
I need something.
I need something.
There's something that I need.
If you don't give me what I want, I might have to go relapse.
Right.
Slick.
Yeah. See, families, I'm always with families like, look, man, be direct with them because I can guarantee you the people out on the street that they're rolling with, that they respect and they listen to, are being very direct with them.
Absolutely.
Shoot them straight. And that, even though that was sarcastic, what I said about write this shit down and go to the 7-Eleven, like it's fact. Like you be direct with them like that, they respond better to that than you walking on freaking eggshells because you're so worried that they're going to go, swing from the chandelier or go jump off a cliff or go hit by a bus or, run out into the, it's just, we'll pick up on that so quickly and just, we're like that lion, right? Mm-hmm. Our illness and our manipulation is like that lion.
Right.
We got to get you separated from the herd, and we're going to pick out the weakest one or what we perceive, and we can smell it. We can smell it. When a family's walking on eggshells, being all gentle in the way they talk to us, we're coming for you.
Well, here's the thing. I wanted to actually bring this up. I don't know if you were in the group the other night, but there was a mother who actually had to up-talk a little bit because she sat in enough of our groups, and she actually brought me on to try to help her son, and I was brought on as an interventionist, and we got him into treatment, and he left treatment, and he went and did his own song and dance and played his little manipulation games and hiding out, and I tried to go help him again. And in the end, there was one night that the mother could not find me, and she just wanted some instruction because this guy worked his way back to another state around the mom. Mom would not let him come home. As a matter of fact, she stood up to his addictive part. And she called me later and said, I couldn't get a hold of you, but I kept thinking, what would Pej say? What would Pej say? And so I just started saying stuff. I go, listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. Say more. Tell me everything. I was holding on to every word. I was like, this is great.
Yes.
Like, I said, what you did, the way you talked to his disease, because you weren't talking to him.
Yeah.
You were confronting his illness, his disease, the devil within, and everything you said could be a case study of how to do it the right way. This is Al-Anon 101. She said, no, it's Pej 101 because it's everything I learned from you. And I said, actually, everything you learned from me is everything that Al-Anon is professing and teaching people. So that is because I watched my mother do it with me.
Yeah.
Right? The do's and the don'ts. That's why me and my mom, we see things equivalent now.
Right.
We understand it. And and parents can definitely toughen up and stop walking on eggshells. You don't need to cater to the disease or the alcoholism that your loved one still wants to carry, because that's never going to get them anywhere anyway.
Yeah.
There's no real recovery in that.
And it's usually coming from a lot of guilt that the families are carrying around.
Yes.
Because, when my kid in high school or middle school get a bad grade or do something dumb in school, no matter how obvious it was that that's his own doings.
Yeah.
Parent, I want to take some responsibility in that, something like that. So you take addiction, debilitating addiction.
Yeah.
It's got to be my fault as a parent. Where did I fail? And now I've got to jump in here and try to that's your stuff, man. That's your stuff. That's not their stuff.
Right.
Pej, this was just a quick episode.
I love it.
Man,
I always love kicking it with you.
I do too, man. We're gonna do more of this since you're here in Virginia.
Let's do it.
And
I have a lot of ideas.
Yeah. We have the family support groups 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
And it's totally free. I was asked to write a foreword for a little pocket manual, field guide for families. I wrote the foreword to it. It's from Brook McKenzie, Burning Tree, CEO of Burning Tree, friend of ours. And he said, a guide for families struggling with addiction and relapse. I wrote the foreword to this book. I was honored to do so. 16 years ago, I wasn't asked to write anything except my name on a warrant or my signature on a warrant. So to be asked to write the foreword on such a powerful little book. Quick read, you can see it right there. Chapters are somewhat like short form content, like the hook, the power, and boom, and done, right? Real quick like.
Yep.
Chapters are to be read very quickly, very practical information. It says, you're waiting on you. And that is the truth.
It's a lot of meaning in that.
Yeah, for families that have loved ones that are struggling and they don't know what to do, you've got our family support groups 5 nights a week, totally free, private sessions with us, very affordable, extremely affordable. We believe affordable for everyone. We've got full interventions if you need it, although I've seen that many families don't need it, but every single one of them need guidance. And now this book. We are becoming your resource for the things that matter to be applied in a very practical sense to change the way that you're experiencing your addicted loved one and put them on a different course. You're Waiting on You, available anywhere that you get your books. I'm grateful for you all. Grateful for you, Pej. Thanks for being here, bud.
Grateful for you, too.
We're going to see you all next time. We're out.